Hello everyone, I am Jamal Nasir and this is tutorial 11 in which we will see one example about how to insert new record in MySQL by using JDBC. So previous lectures to watch, so we have released 10 tutorials about web applications in Java. So for this particular tutorial 11, please watch tutorial 10 before starting this tutorial because in tutorial 10 we have discussed Mysql Connection in very much detail. So do watch tutorial 10 before starting this tutorial 11. So in tutorial 11, we would be adding new record in MySQL database. So for MySQL Connection, we do require technically 5 important things. First one is IP address, right? It could be localhost 127.0.01 or it could be some remote address, right? So this is the address of a machine on which MySQL server is running. Port number, usually by default it's running on 3306 port, but it could be something else. Database name, this is very important because you have to tell JDBC connection that for which specific dataset you want to connect. In our case, it is CT2104. MySQL username, you have to provide username and password. So these are the 5 important information that you should add in your code to connect with any MySQL server. So this is our database in which we have 2 tables, product and users. And in users table, we would try to add new username and password, right? So files we require for this tutorial, or we will be creating particular files, right? Register.html, this is very simple HTML form file. Then we will submit that form to new record servlet.java. From there we will submit data to user data access object, right? And obviously this user data access object class would be using MySQL Connection. So if that record insertion process is correct, then we can simply display message on message.jsp that new record has been added. So let's go to the NetBeans. So we will start with one register.html file, right? Very simple HTML file having some CSS, but the important thing is that form in which we are getting 2 information. Email address which we can use for user ID, right? And then we are asking for password and repeat password. In this tutorial we are not going to recheck any validation thing like password and repeat password should match, right? So that's fine. So we will add servlet name here, right? New record servlet, let's say, and method would be post. Okay, so then we have to create one servlet file, new servlet, name would be new record servlet, right? We need this mapping file, addition in this mapping file, finish. In new record servlet, we would be calling user.DAO object, right? Sending data to user.DAO, and there we would be adding that data into the MySQL table. So first step is obviously we have to get HTML form data, right? Form data from register.html. And then in the second step, we will simply sending this data to the user.DAO, right? And we will see what we will do in user.DAO, and obviously user.DAO will send some response. If response is okay, it means data is added, right? Else there is some problem. So we can write code for this. For step 1, simply we have to get string email is equals to request dot get parameter. Here I will say email, right? And then yes, password pswd. So it should match with this name email, right? And name psw, email and psw. Then we have to create a one object of user DAO, right? Is equals to new user DAO get import. Okay. So we will go to user DAO, and in user DAO we have one new function, insert new, right? Here we are getting user ID, which would be email address of that user, and then we are getting password as well, and we are opening new connection from MySQL class, right? We have discussed this thing in tutorial 10, so please do watch tutorial 10 before this. And then here we have to create one prepared statement, and the SQL query would be insert into users. This users is a table name. It should match with this users, right? And then we have two fields, username and password. And here we would be adding two attributes, right? So here we are just saying that prepared statement dot set string 1 number is user ID, which means that value will come here, and the second value is pswd, which would come here. And then we are just executing the prepared statement, and if it's successful, then it will return how many rows are added. In our case it would be 1 only, so we have to check if the row count is equals to 1. Then we will say, okay, this info added flag that we defined here is false, but here it would become true. Then we will close our connection. It's very important to always close your connection, right? And then we will be sending this boolean variable info edit back to the new record servlet. So here first we have to call the function of user DAO, right? Insert one. So user DAO dot insert new. Here would be email, password is fine, that's fine. We have to catch Sql exception, so we can simply write here. If it's true, then it means that data has been added, else there is some problem, so we can simply say about this. And let's say we can create one string message. So here message would be that like data have been added successfully, right? Or it could be some error. Then we can simply add one session, right? So session.request.get session, and then with message is there, and here we can put simply message, okay? And we can forward this to some JSP. In our case, let's say message.jsp, right? So we can create message.jsp. So we can create a new JSP file, message.jsp. In message.jsp, you simply have to print that message that we are getting from the session, right? So we can run our example. So let's say I'm adding one email address, web@admin.com. I have to enter password. It could be this one, right? So you can see we have got this message that data have been added successfully. So we can also cross check from the MySQL tables as well. So we can check. So you can see this web@admin.com data has been added. So this is the end of the lecture. Practice makes a man perfect. If you have any question, you can comment on YouTube video, and please like this video and share with your friends, and keep learning. Bye bye.